Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're focusing on a breaking story. It's really caught a lot of attention. The Boca Raton plane crash that happened on Friday, April 11th, 2025.
That's right. And we've been looking at the initial reports coming in from several, pretty credible news outlets.
Yeah, we've got info from Daily Mail Online, Newsweek, CBS News Miami, and NBC6 South Florida. We're really trying to dig into what we actually understand right now.
Exactly. Our goal isn't just to, repeat the headlines. It's more about pulling out the key bits of information, the insights, especially as the story is still unfolding.
And it's definitely unfolding. The initial details are pretty striking, aren't they? These reports describing fireballs at the crash site.
Yeah, fireballs really jumps out. That immediately signals, a very high energy event.
And the immediate shutdown of a major road, too.
Absolutely. That closure just underscores the potential scale and the impact of this whole incident. So for everyone listening, we want to synthesize what these reliable sources are telling us, give a clearer picture of these early moments.
Okay, so let's start with the core of it. Yeah. What do we actually know about the incident itself? The basics.
Okay. So from the reports, we know the crash happened Friday, April 11th, 2025. It was sometime after 10:00 a.m. local time.
Right.
And that recurring mention across different sources of fireballs and a really substantial fire at the location, it points to something significant.
And tragically, the fatalities.
Yes, the initial information sadly points to at least 3 fatalities.
That's just devastating news, obviously. And the location. Where exactly did this happen, and what was the immediate fallout for the area around it?
So the crash took place near Boca Raton Airport.
Okay, near the airport.
Which, naturally brings up questions about the flight itself. Was it taking off, landing, just flying nearby? We can't really speculate yet, but the location is definitely a key piece.
And a disruption.
Oh, huge disruption, yeah. Immediately, North Military Trail was closed between NW 19th Street and Butts Road. And also, pretty significantly, the I-95 overpass at Glades Road, that's a major traffic artery, it was shut down. Both directions.
Wow. Closing I-95 like that, that's massive.
Yeah.
It really hits home how serious this was, the potential hazard.
Absolutely. It sounds like authorities reacted really fast to manage the immediate aftermath.
Yeah, it seems like it.
That urgency, telling the public to avoid the area, that's pretty standard in these emergencies. It lets the first responders do their jobs effectively and, keeps people safe from any ongoing dangers.
And those road closures would just ripple out, wouldn't they? Affecting commuters, businesses.
Definitely. Big impact on the local transportation network.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about the aircraft involved. What kind of plane are we talking about?
The aircraft's been identified as a Cessna 310R.
A Cessna 310R, okay.
Yeah, it's a small twin-engine aircraft, typically used for, say, private travel or maybe some business purposes. It's definitely not like the big commercial airliners most people fly on.
Right. A very different kind of plane. So thinking about a small twin-engine plane like that, what does that suggest about how many people might have been on board? Roughly.
Well, a Cessna 310R usually has seating for maybe 4 to 6 people. That includes the pilot.
Okay, 4 to 6.
So that capacity figure, it unfortunately gives us a sense of the potential number involved. It puts those initial reports of fatalities into a kind of somber context.
Yeah.
But of course, the actual number of people on that specific flight, that's still a crucial detail the investigation needs to confirm.
Absolutely. And the personal accounts, the eyewitnesses. That really brings home how sudden and shocking this must have been. What stood out from those reports?
There were several witnesses, and even some early social media posts that we always have to be a bit careful with those initially.
Right, caution is needed there.
Yeah, but they described seeing a huge fireball and just a lot of smoke coming from the crash site.
A huge fireball, wow.
And one detail that really stuck out was someone nearby saying the force of the crash actually shook the whole building they were in.
Shook the building.
Yeah.
That tells you something about the impact. Chilling detail.
It really conveys the power involved, doesn't it?
It does. And it seems clear the emergency response was, immediate.
Yes. The reports definitely confirm police and fire crews were there very quickly.
Good.
Their first priorities would naturally be securing the area, tackling that fire, helping any survivors if possible, and just starting that initial assessment.
Okay, so now the big question everyone will have. What caused this? What do we know or perhaps not know about the investigation at this point?
Right. Well, At this very early stage, the cause is officially under investigation. That's the key thing.
Standard procedure, yeah.
Exactly. It's a really systematic process. It'll involve, a detailed look at the wreckage itself, looking for any signs of mechanical failure, maybe structural issues.
Yeah.
Investigators will also be gathering data on the weather conditions around that time, reviewing the pilot's records, flight history, qualifications, and analyzing any relevant communications with air traffic control. It's methodical. Takes time.
It really does. And it's so important, like you said, to remember that any theories floating around right now are just speculation.
Pure speculation, yeah. We absolutely need to wait for the official findings from the NTSB, most likely.
Right. And as we touched on, there's still quite a few key unknowns beyond the cause itself.
That's right. We're still waiting for confirmation on the exact number of people on board, their identities, obviously, and the full extent of any damage on the ground, too.
All that information should become clearer as the investigation moves forward and authorities can release verified details.
Precisely.
It feels like a good moment to just quickly reiterate where we're getting this information. We mentioned the sources earlier, but in situations like this, knowing the source is crucial.
It really is. Our understanding right now is based on reporting from established news organizations, Daily Mail Online, Newsweek, the local CBS and NBC affiliates.
Yeah.
These outlets generally stick to journalistic principles, verification, which is so vital right after something happens. Initial reports can sometimes have small errors as things become clearer, but these are usually trusted sources for the facts.
And on the flip side, there's always social media. We see a flood of information, sometimes misinformation. How should people approach that?
Well, social media can be incredibly fast. You often get those firsthand accounts, images, like the eyewitness descriptions we talked about.
Great.
But it's essential to remember that stuff is often unverified. Sometimes it's inaccurate, sometimes even deliberately misleading. Best practice is always caution. Look for the official confirmations, the detailed reporting from established news sources before you, decide something is fact.
Good advice. Okay, stepping back a bit now, looking at the bigger picture. Plane crashes are thankfully rare, but they do happen. What broader context should we maybe keep in mind here?
That's a good point. If we think about aviation generally, it's incredibly safe, statistically. Way safer than driving, for example.
Right.
But there are still inherent risks. Operating complex machines like aircraft always involves some risk. That's why we have such comprehensive safety regulations, really rigorous maintenance schedules, extensive pilot training, all that stuff.
The whole system designed for safety.
Exactly. And when an accident like this does happen, that in-depth investigation process is just crucial. It's not only about finding the cause of this specific tragedy.
About learning, right?
Absolutely. It's vital for identifying any potential safety issues, anything systemic that could help prevent similar incidents down the road.
Yeah, each investigation ideally makes flying even safer. And thinking locally again about the impact in Boca Raton, what kind of repercussions might the community be feeling?
The impact is likely significant, and on several levels. Immediately, you've got the practical disruption, those road closures affecting daily life, commutes, businesses. But beyond the logistics, there's the emotional toll. An event like this, especially with descriptions like fireballs, can create fear, anxiety, a deep sadness in the community.
Understandable.
And if there are confirmed local fatalities, the community will feel that grief and loss very directly. How everyone comes together to support those affected, that'll be really important in the coming days and weeks.
It's a sobering thought, the ripple effects. So, wrapping things up for this deep dive, we've really tried to piece together that initial picture from the first wave of credible reports after this tragic crash.
Exactly. And it's important to remember this is a developing story. More information will absolutely come out as the investigation progresses.
Yeah, right.
So for everyone listening, staying informed through those reputable news sources we mentioned, that's going to be key to getting a fuller, more accurate understanding of what happened here.
Agreed. And on that note, we want to leave you with maybe a final point to think about. Considering the preliminary details we have, it's a Cessna 310R, a smaller twin-engine plane, and those really vivid reports of fireballs. What immediate questions does that raise for you about the possible sequence of events here, and maybe what the investigation might focus on initially?
It's definitely a complex situation, lots to consider.
It is, and we encourage everyone to follow the reliable reporting as this story continues to develop.